people who have lost knowledge of themselves is like a tree without a root.
Hey, so I'm back today. We have an extremely knowledgeable Rasta that lives in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He knows a lot about the origin of most of the people in the country. And not just that, he has knowledge of where they came from and a lot of the background roots of slavery. So we're going to go through a few questions with Philbert. That's his name. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to go through various questions and going to see a few things. So if you ever wondered the background of people in St. Vincent, we're going to go through that today. So,
greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I.
So, definitely, respect, bless. So Philbert, let's start this off with asking you about St. Vincent as a country. In terms of the history, the English, the French, anyone out there that's for the first time hearing about St. Vincent, where does the history begin for this country?
Well, St. Vincent, first and foremost, is a virgin island. You know, they call certain places virgin island that ain't really virgin at all. But there's a virgin island that was made by a volcano. You know what I'm saying? A volcano that started under the sea. And for many years, the volcano built up under the sea until it really grew out of the ocean into an archipelago island, which is like an island with 33 other little islands or islets with it. That make it something like the backbone, you know what I'm saying, that have the same amount of structure and the same amount of joints. So it is a backbone rock. First and foremost, it was a bird island. You see, it was an island a long time when birds from the north, you know, them with a fly come. We still have islets in the leeward where birds from the north still come.
Yes.
And they, you know, thousands of birds. Some of these birds stay and remain. So in a sense, bird is a language of nature and help you to show you a lot about the originality and about the structure of an island and a place called nature. We have birds that come from the north that some of them would have stay off. So that means we would have get birds here that not really in our environment, not really born in our environment, but they migrate. So all now, so October and birds gonna be migrating this way here from the snow. So originally it was a bird island.
Right.
It was an island, you would find traces of berries around there, where birds would bring from other islands and bring here some.
Right.
You know, we have iguana. And some of these groups of animals are only endemic to this island. Imagine some of the groups of specimens here. We like to call it the fauna, because you have the flora and you have the fauna. The fauna are the furnitures that support the land. Some of these groups of animals are found nowhere else on earth. This is just to show you the peculiarity of our endemic as an island. We have first and foremost, we have a snake you call the black snake or the Congo snake. That is endemic only to St. Vincent. And then you have certain other birds like the hummingbird, the cockroaches, you know, seeing the banana quit, the grass squid, and our what we call our Vincent parrot. The parrot as a bird is only endemic to St. Vincent. There is no other specimen to parrot like that anywhere at all on the globe. And this is just a small 150 square miles, you know. But 150 square mile, a mile is for every psalm in the book of Psalms. So just like you have 150 psalms, you have 150 square miles, a rugged terrain. You see it?
Yeah.
So we have the parrot. The parrot is the only one of its kind. And a parrot egg is like 15,000 US.
Wow.
You see him?
That's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah. One of these birds could carry you all up to $50,000.
Wow.
You see? So this is how special and unique these birds are. And not only the bird, but we have other specimens like the black snake, like the white snake, like certain kind of lizards. That is only endemic. And these endemic is just to show you an environment breed its life. And if the environment is special, then the life that it breed will be very special. So I give you a small twist of things to show you how special bio-natural and how special is this island. This island ain't break off and no continental shift. It's a virgin island. It's a young island, which we have an island also named Young Island. And it's also a virgin island. And then you have another island where we call Rockfort. So we have a young island with a Rockfort. And then you have another one of the island named Dove Island. So you have it as humble as a dove. Christ will tell you the story that you must be as humble as a dove. And the meek shall inherit the earth when you become humble as a dove.
Yes.
So these are some of the stories and history of this little island. So these little islets around it that would have different names and different points would be telling some stories and some history of the island St. Vincent itself. It was not named St. Vincent. The French give it that, so the British just leave it with that Vincent, St. Vincent, a name from a saint that was recorded in their records of saint.
Okay.
But the real name of this island is Yulu.
All right.
You see? It is called Yulu, land of the rainbow. And is one of the lands on earth that you see every day. You could wake up, you could see a rainbow. You know, because the reflection of the water and the sunlight in the whole atmosphere make it a rainbow island. So Brother Marley did sing about a country where he called the Rainbow Island. At this island here, man. This island here not just by name rainbow. This island is truly a rainbow island. And the ancient used to tell I and I that anywhere on any island that you really see a rainbow, and you can see a rainbow growing every day, there is a pot of gold in an island so rich. That pot of gold would have been a metaphor telling you about the vegetation and the richness of the vegetation in a rainbow country. So this is a rainbow country, and this is an island that if you test the soil, there is no soil like this nowhere on earth. It's one of the richest soil. I have done such a thing because horticulture, farming, botany, and all these kind of structures is I speciality.
Yes. So, Philbert, I've got a question. So you see, there's if you go walk around St. Vincent, you can see most people look like they have, specific maybe English in them, maybe French, Awak, Carib, African. What is really the indigenous roots of most people in this country?
Well, the indigenous roots of most people in this country, going forward to the reflection of time and slavery. This country here, reflection and slavery, was the least to be enslaved by the slave masters of Europe. When Europe, which is a peninsula, rise to rule the world, this was one of the last countries possessed by both England and France, you see, in the Caribbean. So this little island here is a symbol of liberty, where you see America put a big statue and call it liberty, and put on a sun horns on its head, and call it that's the Statue of Liberty. But the real Statue of Liberty of the Caribbean for Iman at this little island here. So. You see? Because this island started its liberty way down after the 17th century. It started its liberty. It had people that the English brought here like King Jaja, and we had the great Chatoué, Joseph Chatoué, and his brothers. We had many great heroes that really even struggled to maintain the unity and the uprightness and governorship of the people of this little island. But the people of the island is not very aware sometimes of the great history of this little island. In the late 17th century, this island is where you started the revolution that took place, that even brought about what we call emancipation, because it lead on to the 1800 and right on to the 1800. This is the little island that start that emancipation. You see it?
Yeah.
Most of the slaves here was not brought here by colonial people who bring slaves. Yeah, they brought it after they took hold of the area. After they had their colonial hands on it, after the British fought the French for it, and so come on it. Yeah, they brought some people and some indentured servants in this island here. But this island was an island where slaves was breaking away from Barbados, was breaking away from Trinidad and St. Lucia and other areas that was dominated by both French and English. And they would have find a raft and they would have sailed to this island here.
Right.
From all the way Guyana, slaves and Indians would have leave on the boats and on the raft down to the Urumo River, and they would have come here and they would have find a haven here. You see?
Yeah.
We are 100,000 people today. But in 1849, let me say 1850, going down there. We was just 149 people.
Wow.
So this country built from 149. It was like 76 males and the rest was females.
Wow. Serious. Wow.
You see me?
Yeah.
And the females of this land is who started the revolution of this land. We had Fanny Greggs. We have a village named after Miss Greggs, on in the Greggs Valley, beyond Mesopotamia. You had Mama Ibu from Kanawan. Mama Ibu was a revolutionary mother who licked out her plantation owner with her hoe and threw he in the ocean. And they went forward down there and hang Mama Ibu on the shores of Kanawan. All these are people who helped to build, the great history of this little island. I would love to always give honor to the memory. Yeah, to give honor to the memory. The women here said to the men, well, look, my children, that is why it's about in 1849. Say, watch, my children now grew up in the plantation, So my children and them had to find a way, you had to find a way of gaining education and proper knowledge and understanding. So the women here rebel against the plantation owner. That's where indentured servants start coming in here. You understand?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want their future children to be in no plantation and to grow up under massa. So they must want the first people. So I must give thanks to the women of St. Vincent. Because they don't even know that they led the revolution to start the liberty. And this is way down in the 17th century, coming in the 18th century. Haiti, you see my brother, started their revolution in the 18th century. This is when Toussaint and all that got rid of the French from Haiti, from laying their hands on Haiti. But before the 18th century, all in 1860, 1870, and the whole 17 coming down to make the 18th century, yeah, man, this little island here was carrying out the battle from plantocracy. Yeah. The daughters of this land say, no more plantocracy. We can't do that. We can't bring we children up to no future slave mentality. So they started to have far out villages. Village like Rosal, village like Rosebank, village like Greg's, Lowman's, Chatman's, all them village on the leeward side. Because the French and them only dominated the leeward side, come straight to Caloqua. Caloqua was the last place that they dominated. The other villages that went beyond Caloqua was free villages. You understand? And they still keep their name today that they had yesterday. A village like Bayaboo, which had the holy sages carry something like meaning the holy ones and things like that. Yeah. The British then, when they took over, they made Georgetown their head. And that's how they get on that side. But we still have ancient names like Sanssouci, places like Kwashi, and all them kind of names there Cannery and all them kind of names there is still villages and names that come from that time. You know? So we still have markings of our originality when we farm villages. And some of them villages there, like I show you, was village where slaves come off the plantation and go and farm. Yeah?
Yeah.
Farm them village there, and them village there, they big today. You understand? That is before the French took over. And then the French came in after they grabbed St. Lucia. Here is near St. Lucia. So they find that was a floating way, a floating military way of getting into St. Vincent. And that's how them come into the St. Vincent.
Right.
And then Chateau now was the man who played a role between the French and the English. You see? He actually could speak the language then. Very lone man, you know. And he was a very mystic man too. Mystic man. You know?
Yeah.
This sign hill here where we are today was named because this was a place where Chateau and them passed through and hold a fort. And then Chateau and them built a fort in Upper Sign Hill, which was, today they call it Dorsetshire Hill. But it's the British who named Dorset. It named after Dorset in England. Dorshire.
Yeah.
You understand? That was when the British, but the real name of this area is Zion Hill. Zion. You see? Was one of the first mystery system in this land was held in this area here.
Right.
Called Zion Hill.
Right.
It means, say, that one of our ancient religions, which was from the Gala people, they call it today Shaker Baptist. And they call it the Ethiopian Baptist Church. You know, see? So, slaves from all America that come from all the influence in America, in Miami, from the Similese people. You understand? That influence of religion came here and was seated right up here in Zion Hill.
Right.
Yeah. Zion Hill is a place you call Zion Lodge. That is right on the hill there where they had that church.
Yes.
That's where the Zion Lodge was.
Right.
That's where the first sacred mystery system was in this land. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is where the sacred religion passed. You understand? And I would like to add to that, to show you that when Rastafari come to this island here, one of the first Rastaman that brought this movement to this island from Chicago, not from Jamaica, because Chicago was ahead, way ahead Jamaica in producing black conscious people. Yeah, man, all is Chicago. A chicken in a car and a car can go. That's what they call it, the land of Chicago. That's where the black press began. Not in Harlem, like they're telling you, in Chicago. Chicago is where the black press started to produce books about blackness and about black history. That's where Marcus Garvey went and get the black man printed too. Yeah, in Chicago. So that brother came from Chicago and he had family in Zion Hill. And he lived in Zion Hill down in a place called Roseau. You see Roseau? Roseau is what we used to build a house with. A long time before we get board and concrete. It's Roseau. So down in that valley, they was full of Roseau for building a house. It's where people around this whole area used to build a house from. The valley of Roseau. Rosa is a sacred whip and a sacred rod that we used to plait and call it wattle and dab houses. So we would have cut Rosa in Rosa and build houses and trash them with a special grass they call lavender grass. This is where housing started in this little island. And Rosa was the main housing material. So that was the warehouse of nature. Way before we have warehouse coming from England and them place. Yeah, that was a warehouse of nature. Down that side there was a whole life crib of birds. Down there was a wetland, like in Florida and them place there. And you used to have hundreds of life forms emerging from them wetland. Today them wetland is lost. Because man way of development, he cover over them thing there with concrete. And put schools and all other kind of factories and all other kind of thing. They never even consider them wetland place there. And the use of them wetland today to the biosphere is lost. Because a wetland come like the crib, the cradle of your biospheric engineering. The whole biosphere live from the wetland. Because this is where all the different specimens, guana, toads, frogs, crabs, all the insects, grasshopper, butterfly, this is where they crawl out from. Your wetland is your cradle of your biosphere.
Yeah.
So if you destroy your wetland, the biosphere suffer. Because you have plants and trees that can't come because they don't have the biosphere that feed them. And when you have that biosphere, then you have your wetland.
Okay.
Your wetland feed the biosphere, so you're getting your birds and you're getting your insects and you're getting your fauna, your flora and your fauna actually come from a wetland.
Yeah.
Today all that is lost. And I'm just giving you the history of this little corner that we are in today, Sion Hill.
Yes. Well, you know what, Philbert? But I hope you've enlightened a lot of people out there that, didn't know too much about the history of St. Vincent. So, signing off right now, what would you like to say to the people watching this video? What would be your last message to these people after you have acknowledged these people about St. Vincent? What would be your last words signing off to these people?
I would say unto the people, quietly and sincerely, a people who have lost knowledge of themselves is like a tree without a root. They can't stand up. And when the wind blows, they are lost. They are blown away. They have nothing to be proud of. Nothing as an endemic to the specimen. Nothing that is reasonable for them to protect and hold. So a people without knowledge of the history is a tree without root.
Yes.
You must start somewhere to find out your history. And that is a search you have to do for yourself. You can't rely on others. Because the story of the lion, the zebra can't tell that story there for him. It takes the lion himself to tell the story of himself. So the black man's story and where he go and where he come, it must start from the perspective of black voices. Black voices must start to speak about their history. And black people on the other side must start to learn the greatness of their history, whether it be one in sorrow or one in victory. Your history is where it's come from.
Absolutely. Well, A lot of love, a lot of knowledge, respect for that, Philbert, man.
Yeah.
So we get that message there, and we finish out. So one love, bless, big up, and I hope you guys have taken away from this a lot of knowledge about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. One love, bless.
Yeah, man, bless the whole universe.